One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Navy's 250th anniversary Sea Power demonstration. For 250 years, from its humble beginnings as a 6-frigate Navy to nearly 300-ship and 4,000 aircraft fleet of today, your United States Navy has sailed the far reaches of the globe in an unwavering defense of our nation's freedom. Today, we welcome our special guests aboard the USS George H.W. Bush, President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Veterans Affairs Doug Collins, Secretary of the Navy John Phelan, and finally Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Daryl Caudill. I will be your narrator, Lieutenant Daniel Burns, callsign Hey Hey from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We thank you today for joining us aboard the George H.W. Bush Freedom at Work, the flagship of Carrier Strike Group 12. We also thank our sailors on Pier 14, next to the Harry S. Truman and the USS Kearsarge. We are grateful to have you here today to witness not only the size and scope of the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, but to showcase how the men and women of the Team Avenger bring 100,000 tons of American steel to life. Our sailors are trained and ready to fight with the right skills, equipment, and warrior ethos to protect the American interest around the globe. The platform theme and the events experienced today will encompass the full power and might of the United States Navy. You will see fast attack submarines, live fires from 8 Arleigh-Burke-class guided missile destroyers, Navy SEALs fast roping from a helicopter to a destroyer, and finally an air-powered demonstration featuring a full complement of the carrier air wing, showing the unmatched power of U.S. naval aviation. Now, be prepared to be amazed as our Navy demonstrates the impressive capabilities of the most powerful naval force the world has ever seen.
Good afternoon, everybody. So let me show you what's going on here. So we got a how can I say this? This is the 250th naval birthday, and they're going to be doing a sea show here and showing you some of the ships and the planes. At some times, this is going to be very loud. President Trump is due to speak at about 3:15, so I went back, I hit pause, pushed this back to the beginning so we could roll with this as we're waiting for President Trump to come out. So no, you haven't missed anything. Yes, this is tape recorded. The live portion, as soon as he comes on stage, I will obviously bring it to you. But, I had a lot of people who have never seen a Navy show who said, can we see it? So, here we go. You're seeing it.
It allows for near silent movement through the world's oceans. Its sensitive sonar can detect and track enemy submarines and warships from extended distances. With a length of 377 feet and 6,800 tons and a speed of 25 knots, the Iowa represents the greatest America's silent fleet. The Iowa's crew is comprised of 15 officers and 117 enlisted sailors, all highly trained and selected from the nation's most competitive candidates. The Iowa's armament consists of 4 torpedo tubes and 2 Virginia payload tubes, each capable of holding 6 vertical launch Tomahawk missiles that can strike over 1,200 miles away. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the USS Iowa and the United States Navy's Silent Service.
yards split bar. Boats are on.
Weather decks are secure from all personnel.
Say again.
What you're hearing
Our
is
next demonstration showcases the impressive firepower capability of the United States surface fleet.
Oh, after.
As you direct your attention to the port side of the ship, you'll see 8 Arleigh-Burke-class guided missile destroyers sailing in formation. The USS Farragut, the USS Donald Cook, the USS Mason, the USS Delbert D. Black, the USS Ross, USS Cole, USS Neitz, USS Gonzalez, and USS Carney. Each of these powerful warships is manned by 320 of America's finest sailors, highly trained, battle-ready warfighters who embody the skill, spirit, and dedication to make the United States Navy the greatest naval force in history. Their seamless teamwork and unwavering commitment delivering precision firepower upon our nation's enemies from the surface of the sea. Aboard the aircraft carrier, the commander of Destroyer Squadron 2-2 operates as the Sea Combatant Commander for the George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group. The Desron commander is responsible for directing each of the destroyers under his command to successfully engage in anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare.
What I was going to say is the communication you hear on the radio is actually the feed from the actual ships and planes. You won't believe some of these planes. And if you've never seen an air show or a sea show, some of this is pretty crazy. But you're going to see these things land right on the aircraft carrier. It's absolutely awesome. It's loud. Just understand it's going to be loud. But I'm going to show it all to you. Now, if President Trump comes on before all this stuff happens, I'll pause it and bring Trump, obviously, and then afterwards we can finish up with the rest of the air. Yeah, I'd call it an air and sea show for sure.
Now, we invite you to witness the full measure of these ships' combat capability. In our first display of firepower, our destroyers will fire the Mark 15 Phalanx close-in weapon system, also known as Sea-Wiz. The Phalanx weapon system provides U.S. Navy ships with an inner layer point defense capability against anti-missiles, low-flying aircraft, UAVs, and high-speed surface craft. The Phalanx weapon system is the only deployed close-in weapon system capable of autonomously performing its own search, detect, evaluation, track, engage, and kill assessment functions. This is the ship's last line of defense, providing a fast reaction, radar-guided, 20mm gun, weapon system that is capable of firing at a rate of 4,500 rounds per minute.
Move to my other position.
Just so you know, that's not me cutting the sound or anything. That's the feed directly from the it's coming from the event.
Now it's time to bring out the big guns. The Mark 45 5-inch gun is a fully automatic naval gun mount. Mark 45 is designed to engage surface and air targets and provide naval surface fire support for expeditionary operations. The gun mount includes a 20-round automatic loader drum. Its maximum fire rate of 16 to 20 rounds per minute with an effective range of 13 nautical miles. Finally, we will demonstrate the power of the Surface Naval's missile arsenal. The Standard Missile 2, or SM-2, is the U.S. Navy's premier air defense weapon with a range of up to 90 nautical miles. The SM-2 is launched from Mark 41 vertical launch systems. This weapon system is an integral part of the Aegis weapon system aboard the Ticonderoga-class cruisers and Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers. Its primary mission includes fleet area defense and ship self-defense, and is using SEAM-active radar guidance to decisively engage and destroy even the most advanced adversary fighter aircraft. One of our ships in company, the USS Carney, recently fired the SM-2 missile in support of combat operations in the Red Sea. On October 19, 2023, the USS Carney was involved in one of the most intense combat engagements by a U.S. Navy warship since World War II. By the end of what became a 10-hour standoff, Carney had shot down 15 drones and 4 land attack cruise missiles fired by Houthi rebels in Yemen. This marked the most intense combat engagement of the U.S. Navy in years. Ladies and gentlemen, your United States Navy Surface Fleet. Naval Special Warfare history is one of consistently delivering high-impact solutions in the nation's most critical moments. The heritage of the Navy SEALs can be traced back to World War II, where the need for specialized maritime forces became apparent with the changing nature of war. Naval combat demolition units and scouts and raiders were created to conduct covert reconnaissance and landing from beaches and coastal defense. This played a crucial role in maritime amphibious landing operations. These operators directly enabled the success of amphibious operations like D-Day, turning the tides of the war. The U.S. Navy SEALs were established by President John F. Kennedy in 1962 as a small elite maritime force. They carry out types of clandestine small unit high-impact missions that large forces with high-profile platforms such as ships, tanks, jets, and submarines cannot. SEALs conduct essential on-the-ground special reconnaissance at critical targets to enable strikes by larger conventional forces.
All under 10 standing by.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are witnessing is effective integration and interoperability with varying air and maritime and land components, which is critical to the SEAL operations. Today's helicopter assault force is relying on a skilled pilot and a crew of Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 11 to insert them into a target area via fast rope from an MH-60 Sierra helicopter.
I'm going to cut live.
Fast roping is designed to enable SEALs a rapid insertion into...
I'm going to cut live to, looks like an invocation, and then we'll come back to this. So just hold on a second.
50th birthday. As one force and of one voice, we remember and we celebrate both our storied past and our proud heritage. With the origins of the Navy predating our independence, our Continental Congress knew that a fleet of sufficient force was necessary for protection of our colonies and even for freedom itself. With your hands and through your vessels, our Navy was born as a force for good. Today, we celebrate one another, sailors and Marines who are the lifeblood of our force
and the heart of our birthday celebration. And we are deeply grateful for all our shipmates, past and present, who have thrown themselves upon the sea again and again in the service of our great country and the finest, most powerful Navy and Marine Corps the world has ever seen. May you fill this space now with your divine presence and power as we commemorate this momentous occasion together. May you gird us with toughness and discipline as warfighters, even as we work diligently to deter and passionately to preserve peace through strength. May you make us ready and resilient when the call of duty comes as protectors of our nation and guarantors of freedom on the seas. And may you forevermore watch over and bless those who serve upon the sea, above the sea, and under the sea as we sail towards a bold future together. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rabbi Yonatan Warren.
We come together now to acknowledge and memorialize those who came before us. Eternal God, for generations they came, young, hopeful, enthusiastic to serve, to answer a call from their nation, from their communities, from you. We pray for them, for those who answered the call to serve in the United States Navy and in the United States Marine Corps. For 250 years, they came in times of war and in times of peace. They came because freedom, democracy, union, revolution ask it, require it, demand it, and they answered that call. They gave of themselves, of their intellect, of their vigor, of their spirit, and because of that, today, we stand on their shoulders and we are eternally grateful for their service. God, and Master of Healing, we ask you tend to the emotional and physical well-being of our nation's sea service veterans. May they never feel forgotten by those whose liberty they have so steadfastly defended. Lord, aid the caregivers who tend to their wounds. El Malei Rachamim, God full of compassion, hold close those who made the ultimate sacrifice, who died in the selfless devotion to the greater whole. May they be bound up in the bond of eternal life, and may they rest in peace. Lord, remember their parents, partners, children, and all the loved ones they left behind. Protect and comfort them. Bring them peace. Bring them grace. In this semi-quincentennial of our Navy and Marine Corps, may all assembled here, may all our fellow service members, and may our nation come to know and savor the blessings of true peace and security. May God bless us and our nation, and let us say, Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Father Daniel Swartz.
Eternal Father, strong to save, throughout sacred scripture, you have raised men and women and entire peoples to enact your will, never just for themselves, but also for those entrusted to their care. Behind and next to each sailor and marine are fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and sons and daughters, families from whom we go out and to whom we return each time we take to the sea and set foot on foreign shores. The gift of life is a precious and sacred act, the holy bond of a family. We ask your blessing upon the families of America who have offered their sons and daughters in the noble service of persevering in the causes of truth, justice, and humanity. May they be protected in our absence and fortified in their waiting vigil. And while steel ships and ranks of proud uniforms capture the imagination, birthdays by their nature are family affairs. Today is no exception. In our celebration of 250 years of naval and marine service, may we persevere in our thankfulness for the families whose sacrifices run parallel to our own. Lord our God, we ask this final grace to remain steadfast in mission, resolute in our character, and devoted to the threefold legacy you have bestowed upon us, which we celebrate today, our families, our fleet, and our great nation. May the good work you have begun in us all be brought to fulfillment. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as musician second class Morgan Ramirez leads us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? 'O'er the land of the free, 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 'o'er the land home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Chief of Protocol of the United States, Ambassador.
Hello, Naval Station Norfolk. This is my first time here, guys, and this is absolutely awesome. It's such a joy and an honor to be here at the world's largest naval base and home to the U.S. Navy's Fleet Forces Command, especially today when we all gather to salute the remarkable first 250 years of our incredible United States Navy. I am deeply honored to join President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Collins, Secretary Phelan, and of course, all of you to celebrate 250 years of naval power and American might. The United States Navy has a glorious and storied past of historic victories at sea. From the small but determined Continental Navy sealing American independence in the Battle of the Chesapeake, to victory over the Barbary pirates in the Barbary Wars, to the first battle of ironclad warships at Hampton Roads, to the Battle of Manila Bay during the Spanish-American War, to the Battle of Midway, which turned the tide in the Pacific Theater in World War II, to the biggest naval battle in history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, which shattered the enemy's naval capabilities for the rest of the Second World War. The United States Navy has always protected and defended American freedom and brought glory upon glory to our great nation. Today, history sets sail again, and we all have a front seat to freedom in motion as we honor America's awesome sea power. This big birthday party for the U.S. Navy is part of a year-long celebration of our exceptional history and the start of a new era of American greatness. Today, we launch the next 250 years of supreme U.S. naval power and of American liberty, dynamism, leadership, and pride. And what an absolute gift it is to have President Trump in the White House during this epic moment in our nation's history. Now, some of us may recall America's bicentennial in 1976 when we were all very, very, very young. One of my earliest memories as a little girl is gathering with my family at the Jersey Shore to celebrate that very special day. I'll never forget the indelible sense of American patriotism that took root in me that day. I can't remember the specifics of July 4th, 1976, but I do remember gazing in wonder at the fireworks, holding red, white, and blue sparklers, waving a small American flag, and singing the national anthem with hundreds of others. Whether or not you remember every detail of that day, you do remember how you felt. Proud to be an American. It is now our privilege to share this experience, this core memory, with the next generation of young Americans from sea to shining sea. On the eve of America's 250th birthday, the national mood is one of celebration. Americans are optimistic about the future. Thanks to President Trump and Secretary Hegseth, we are renewing our commitments to military might and peace through strength. We are working together to realign and reunite our great nation around our shared patriotic values and a renewed sense of civic pride as we sail toward July 4th, 2026. There is no greater champion for this new patriotism than President Donald J. Trump. I am so honored to be part of our national birthday party and to join with all of you in welcoming our exceptional Commander-in-Chief here today with the kind of tremendous reception he so greatly deserves. We are now in a moment in our history when, thanks to President Trump, we are turning the tide again, just as the revolutionary generation that founded our great Navy did. It is now our time to take big risks to save our country, and it is our duty to honor our past generations and their staggering sacrifices, for which we owe them a huge debt of gratitude. We are the natural successors to the Revolutionary War generation, fiercely independent, ruggedly individualist, faithful to God and to country, with a white-hot love of liberty and the unique, enduring American spirit. It's been said that great civilizations tend to not last more than about 250 years. We've made it to 249 with our big 250 next year. But preparing for our next 250 years requires forever vigilance, something that the Navy has maintained with excellence, fortitude, and commitment to duty for 2.5 centuries. President Trump is reclaiming the American Republic for the American people. He is launching us into the next 250 years of American greatness, as he did in his first term, by delivering a strong economy, an enforced border and record low illegal immigration, a rebuilt, modernized military with record recruitment, a government that actually serves its people, and world peace. America first. Next year's momentous celebration will be thanks to his leadership in activating a national and worldwide celebration of America's 250th birthday. We are preparing to honor and celebrate our nation's history in unforgettable ways, from our military anniversaries, as we're doing here today, to a majestic flotilla of tall ships from around the world, to many other really big surprises. We know that this celebration will have a truly global impact, showcasing American power and leadership while promoting a future of peace and prosperity. America's 250th is so much more than just a date on the calendar. This moment will inspire a new era of American greatness. Not only will this be the most monumental and exciting celebration in American history, but it will spark a shared vision for America's future. And Lord knows we need that. Thanks to the Trump administration, next Independence Day will be a once or twice in a lifetime moment of sparkling American grandeur and patriotism. This is the new golden age, and with God's help, we will make America even greater over the next 250 years. And it's all made possible by the unmatched force of the United States Navy and the innumerable sacrifices of every man and woman who has put on the naval uniform. We owe so much of America's independence on July 4th, 1776, to the birth of the Navy on October 13th, 1775. Today, our hearts are filled with gratitude and pride for you, the men and women of the United States Navy, and your indispensable role in securing the first 250 and the next 250 years of American greatness. Happy birthday, U.S. Navy. Because of you, we continue to be the beacon of hope, a citadel of liberty, and a light in the darkness. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our Commander-in-Chief, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
All right, so that was Monica Crowley coming out for a speech in advance of President Trump. Not sure who's going to be up next. Again, what I'll do at the end is I'll take a break and I'll put the feed of the naval ships and the air. I mean, it's incredible watching these things. And I've never seen that close where a plane actually lands on an aircraft carrier. So it's going to be really cool. You might watch that. You might like that at the end. All right, so I'm not sure who is up next. Just waiting to see who that might be. And we shall bring that person to you as soon as they come up. Let me see if they're strengthening the microphone. Who's this going to be here? Just bringing up. So I hope you guys are all having a good time. Hope you had a great weekend thus far. Hope your NFL team is winning. My Notre Dame Irish won big last night, so I'm doing good. I'm happy about that. While they're doing this, let me go ahead. Hold on. I hate when they do this stuff and they take these breaks. We don't have programs. See, you guys may like, well, Barry, why did you run this show at this time? I didn't know it was going to happen. And then I saw all the different stuff on the schedule. I'm like, there's so much going on. And he is doing this thing with the Navy. I'm like, okay, we'll grab it. Give me a second here with talk to one of my sponsors. I got to ask you something. Do you know what a comet is? No. Not that kind of a comet. A comet is a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, having endless tabs open? That's a lot of stuff for you to handle and be able to go back and forth to find things. Well, stop it. You don't have to do that anymore. Comet will do that for you. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. It gives you answers. It finds things for you. For example, you can ask Comet to handle tasks, and it literally clicks, types, searches, and scrolls just like you would. But it's getting things done for you in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you. It can make reservations. It can book your travel for you. It can summarize articles or videos. It can send emails. It can schedule meetings and a lot more to make your lifestyle much easier. Comet doesn't just give you answers. It gets things done. That's pretty cool. Very cool. It's AI that actually helps you in your daily life today. Before you automatically say no, because I know there's so many people who are so resistant to AI, try it. Actually, try it. You'll be shocked at how it will make your life so much easier. You're in full control of what Comet can do at all times. And if you download Comet today, you'll get 1 month of Rumble Premium for free. So this is the perfect time for you to get Comet. Get yourself your own digital personal assistant who will do stuff for you. Trust me, you won't believe how easy it is and how much time you'll save. I use Comet daily to help me find a lot of the news I bring to you guys. Download Perplexity's new AI web browser, comment by heading to http://pplx.ai/Barry. You'll see the link in the description below. And let your browser work for you. And remember, if you download Comment today, you get a month of Rumble Premium for free. Again, that's pplx.ai/Barry. Go now and take back your time online. Reclaiming my time.
So this week, the big event at Quantico was all about readiness. And as the admirals and the generals were taking that message back to their troops, the government shut down. How does a government shutdown impact readiness?
Well, of course it does. You got to pay for the stuff you're doing. We're going to do the job no matter what. The Navy and the Air Force, that's the game we're at here today. They're going to do their job. They're going to defend the nation. We're going to continue training. But eventually you stop paying people. You stop doing things. You stop training. You're less ready. You're less capable of being mission ready. You can't maintain everything. So, yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a Chuck Schumer special right now. This is the vanity of one man who doesn't want to look weak to his base. And so he's trying to look tough, throw $1.5 trillion on top of what is otherwise a clean bill to fund the government to move along on a regular order. And so we're going to fight through it. But it's unfortunate that the Democrats are pushing politics into something when all we want to do is defend the nation, and we're going to keep doing it.
And your agency is as affected as any. During a government shutdown, how hard is it to keep up this warrior ethos you talked about this week when the warriors don't know when their next paycheck is coming?
Pretty soon they're going to start looking at leaders, looking at Democrats, saying, how long are you going to hold out? Because pretty soon I won't have a paycheck. Pretty soon I can't use that paycheck to pay for the groceries for my family and live my life. You know, joining the military is not a lucrative business. The generals that were in that room with us aren't in this to get rich. They can make a lot more on the outside, just like the sergeants and the captains and the others who serve. It's not about the money, but at the end of the day, you got to pay the bills. And so when dumb games are played by Democrats on Capitol Hill, they don't have the power, they don't have the control. Chuck Schumer's doing this to protect his own base because he wants to keep his position. It's nonsense. End it, fund it, and let the troops get back to what they do best, which is defend the nation.
Something else the troops have been doing, the Department of War has been deploying National Guardsmen to dangerous downtowns throughout this country. If a young man or woman signs up today, are they more likely to deploy in their career to the Middle East or to the Midwest?
Well, I'll tell you this. The era of sort of reckless adventurism around the globe is over. We're introducing, President Trump is, clear missions, clear end states. I mean, even the renaming of the department from the Department of Defense to the Department of War is about clarity. We're not interested in endless, unclear missions. You go to war decisively with a clear mission to win it and then come home. So you're not going to see nation building abroad. In that sense, they're less likely. Also, President Trump's willing to stand alongside law enforcement and make sure they're safe in the conduct of their duties. So in that sense, they're more likely. But we're here to defend the hemisphere, defend the homeland, defend the border, deter China, make sure Europe shoulders more of the burden. So I don't know exactly where everybody will be, but I'll tell you, we're going to be laser focused on America first and peace through strength, and that's what President Trump delivers.
And so then based on your answer about no more foreign entanglements, endless entanglements, the way that you see it right now at the Department of War, which would be the greatest threat to the U.S. homeland? China, Russia, or Antifa?
Well, depends on where you are, right? I mean, ultimately, looks like Navy just scored.
They like that answer.
They like that answer a lot. I think they vote for defending the homeland. Ultimately, we're going to defend the homeland first. That's most important. The invasion of our southern border, what Joe Biden unleashed, is a sin. It's a sin. And we're undoing it by locking down the border and supporting mass deportations. Not knowing who's in your country when they're not citizens is dangerous. You name it, whether it's Antifa, whether it's cartels, foreign terrorist organizations, whether it's Iranians, you name it, Islamists, you can't have it. So we're locking that down while at the same time ensuring we have the kind of power projection posture. That's why President Trump spent $1 trillion, and we're going to spend even more, so that we can project power. Our ship is capable of doing that. Our Air Force is capable of doing that, so that our adversaries far away don't feel like they can move into our hemisphere and threaten us here. So there are a lot of threats. Defending the homeland is first and foremost, and we're going to be a part of all spectrums of that.
You mentioned cartels and foreign terrorist organizations. Let's start there. The big news this weekend, a possible peace process progress in Gaza. if the Hamas peace talks go sideways, is there a universe where the Department of War would move in to assist Israel either by air or by sea?
No, President Trump's been clear. Israel's got this. If this falls apart and Hamas doesn't live up to its word, which it oftentimes, as we know, does not, then Israel can finish the job. Israel can go in there and make sure Hamas is obliterated. But President Trump creates opportunities where no other leader can. Moves the Overton window and creates an art of the possible for real peace in the Middle East. I mean, if Hamas can live up to it, step up to the moment, then it looks like we're on the precipice of something really different in the Middle East, which creates a whole different set of possibilities. So we're proud to be a part of supporting and defending Israel, but when it comes to Hamas, they've got it.
You have said the strikes will continue against narco-terrorists. Every video of a cartel boat blowing up looks like it is a trailer for a Bad Boys movie sequel. But how is that legal?
Oh, we have every authorization needed. These are designated as foreign terrorist organizations. They're a threat to the homeland. They're a threat to the American people. They've been poisoning our people for far too long. And President Trump said no more. They're effectively designated just like Al-Qaeda, which if I saw Al-Qaeda in the conduct of doing something that was going to threaten and kill Americans, I had the right to do that in Iraq and Afghanistan. If you're in our hemisphere and you're in the Caribbean, if you're north of Venezuela and you want to traffic drugs to the United States, you are a legitimate target of the United States military. And in each one of these strikes, we know where they're coming from. We know who they work for. We know where they're going. We know what they're carrying. We know how many people are on that boat. And that's why these are legitimate, clean kills in pursuit of defending the homeland. And we hope it deters those foreign terrorist organizations from doing it, because the American people deserve to be defended.
And in reading the criticism from Capitol Hill the last couple days about this, it reminds me of your time serving the country at Guantanamo Bay. You were surrounded by terrorists who waited for years for a trial because that's the way that the system was set up. So it seems like these folks on Capitol Hill are curious why those terrorists get trials and these narco-terrorists don't before a bomb falls on their boat.
Peter, you know, there's a lot of terrorists in the Middle East and elsewhere who never got a trial. And thank goodness, because they're dead. Because we hunted them down, we found them, and we killed them. And just like we were focused on Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and we still are, we're making sure in various places around the world that they're never spending one night assured of their own survival. If you're in the drug trafficking business, if you're in foreign terrorist organization poisoning the American people in the maritime domain or anywhere, you could be under target from the United States. And we're going to make sure our people, our homeland, our citizens are defended. We have allowed people to be poisoned for far too long with impunity. That ends. And so we're willing to conduct the operations we are, and we think it's going to have a great deal of effect. You know what? Nothing else matters. You got it done. Yes, sir. You got it done. In fact, the best wins are the ones where it takes you a while. Defense doesn't show up right away. Offense doesn't show up right away. Listen, you're hearing this from a all-conference honorable mention. Wide receiver, Forest Lake High School, Minnesota. I didn't go deep. I ran slant routes right across the middle. Let me tell you, I couldn't respect more what you did. You pounded through the game. When you needed a stop at the end, you got the big stop. When you needed a first down, you got the first down. That's going to be your life, not just in this game, but for the rest of your life when you're wearing a different kind of uniform. There's going to be shitty days. There's going to be tough days. There's going to be frustrations. You're going to have bad leaders. You're going to have good leaders, clear missions, and missions with no clarity at all. And what you do in those moments is what's going to be the difference between life and death for the men, for the Americans, for the sailors, for the SEALs, for the Marines that you lead in the future. You are their compass. They will look to you, just like you look to your quarterback, or your linebackers, or your O-line, to say, hey, I'm on you, I'm on your back, we're going north. You did that today. I love the Air Force. They don't have it on you today. So it is an honor to be your Secretary of War. You are in the War Department. I don't know if you saw, I gave a little speech on Tuesday. That's right, he's big. That's right. No more beardos. 2 PT tests, no matter who you are. Standards, discipline, accountability, readiness, all the things you hear from your professors, from the soup, from your coach, and from your commanders. It's the basics. It's blocking and tackling of leadership, of command. That's what you're learning here. That's what your formations need. That's what the country needs. And all I know, and I never did anything near what all of you have done here at this academy, at this institution. All I know when I was a young rifle platoon leader, all I wanted to know is that my commander had my back. When I had to do difficult things, when I had to do things in dangerous places in the middle of the night, did they have my back, even if I make a mistake? Let me tell you this, from President Trump to all of you, we have your back. The nation has your back. Your leadership has your back. Stick to it. Fight like hell. Do what you did on the field today, and America will never, ever go wrong. QB, where's my QB? Well done. Well done. Where's my linebackers in here? Oh! All right.
Cap, right? Leading the way.
I hope and pray. All glory to God. I hope and pray that someday one of my sons or daughter decides to make the decision you made at the age you made it. You put something bigger than yourself. You chose something bigger than yourself on day one. That means something. You have my respect because of it, and I'm going to work my ass off along with everybody we work with to make sure you have everything you need whenever you need it in the formations you have. Gentlemen, men, warriors, go Navy. Let's go.
It must have been so hard for him to do that because they're playing Air Force, and so one of the other military academies they were playing. So he probably had to stop there and then go into the losers' locker room, which I'm sure either way, as the Secretary of War, they were happy to see him. So while we're waiting for President Trump to come out, he still has not come out yet. Watching the feeds here to make sure. Let's go back to some of the stuff that was going on with the show. So I'll bring that up here.
Maritime Special Operations Force, delivering decisive action where it matters most. They are trained to operate in the harshest environments, from desert cities to remote coastlines. They continue to innovate in a battle space defined by evolving technology and global competition. However, across its history, Naval Special Warfare has remained true to the ethos of the Navy SEAL teams. They are quiet professionals, relentless in their pursuit of excellence, and unwavering in their commitment to the mission. Naval Special Warfare honors the great generations of warriors and support personnel who have built its legacy and reaffirms its commitment to serving with honor, courage, and excellence well into the future. Skilled warrior capable of operating in remote environments or engaging the enemy in an urban setting. They are experts in close quarters, combat, demolitions, communications, marksmanship, and a myriad of other skills essential for success in the most challenging environments. They are the tip of the spear, the silent guardians, the embodiment of American resolve. They are the U.S. Navy SEALs, and they stand ready to defend freedom, protect our interests, and answer the call, however it may come. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoy this small display of the capabilities of the Naval Special Warfare and our supporting elements as we seek to carry on the legacy of the frogmen that have gone before us. Give it up for your United States Navy SEALs. During the Second World War, USS San Juancito launched Lieutenant Junior Grade George H.W. Bush and his TBF Avenger torpedo bomber from a vast expanse of the Western Pacific. This helped support 58 critical combat missions. Since this pivotal area, the aircraft carrier has remained an indispensable pillar of America's national security, providing vital roles in the conflicts from Vietnam all the way till recent inherent resolve. Today, our Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carriers represent the cutting edge of naval aviation technology. These mighty vessels launch aircraft using steam catapults, powerful enough to accelerate a 65,000-pound aircraft from 0 to nearly 200 miles per hour in a mere seconds. This represents an extraordinary feat of engineering and precision. After completing their missions, our pilots execute one of the most challenging maneuvers in aviation, landing aboard a moving ship. Approaching at the precise degrees of 3.5-degree glide slope from approximately 3/4 of a mile, they aim to catch one of the 3 arresting wires that are only 40 feet apart, offering a total landing area of 80 feet. This narrow margin leaves virtually no room for error. In this demanding skill, this is required both day and night, and it distinguishes our naval aviators as the most highly trained and capable pilots in the world. The flight deck is angled at 9 degrees, a critical design feature that allows aircraft to be launched and recovered simultaneously, maximizing operational tempo and efficiency. 4 steam catapults pull the fixed-wing aircraft into the skies, while 3 resting wires safely recover them upon return. All aircraft operations are expertly coordinated by the air boss from the primary flight control. Supporting these complex operations are 4 large elevators that move the aircraft seamlessly between the flight deck and the hangars below. These hangars are carefully divided into 3 bays of thick steel, engineered to contain and restrict the spread of fire, ensuring the safety personnel and equipment. The 2 aircraft located on the fantail at the aftmost portion of the ship are now about to kick on their engines and prepare to launch and intercept whatever may be on the way. We see them taxiing forward to the waste catapults now, where 52,000 pounds of steel will use its own 44,000 pounds of thrust and the impressive power of the carrier's catapult system to go from 0 to up 150 knots in roughly 3 seconds. The USS George H.W. Bush has 4 catapults, 2 on the bow, 2 on the waist. It is capable of launching 1 aircraft every 30 seconds. As you will see, the aircraft will taxi up the catapult, lower the launch bar into a small shuttle. Behind the nose gear will be attached a holdback fitting from the landing gear to the ship. The holdback bar will hold the aircraft as the pilot runs his throttles to full power. When the pilot is ready to launch, they will give a crisp salute, and the catapult officer will then press the button to release the launch bar, and away he goes. Now overhead is the E-2D Hawkeye. The Hawkeye is the Navy's all-weather, carrier-based tactical battle management, airborne early warning, command and control aircraft. The E-2D is a twin-engine, 5-crew-member, high-wing turboprop aircraft with a 24-foot diameter radome attached to the upper fuselage. The Hawkeye is our eye in the sky. The pilots will manage this aircraft to touchdown in the landing area, or LA, a small piece of steel roughly 100 feet wide, and with a wingspan of nearly 80 feet, there is not much room for error. Here, the E-2D pilot would demonstrate the power of the E-2D's engines and look to take back off again in only a few hundred feet.
Badass. Oh.
Next inbound is the F-35C carrier variant, the U.S. Navy's first 5th-generation stealth fighter. This cutting-edge aircraft marks a historic leap in naval aviation, bringing radar-evading stealth technology to the carrier deck for the first time in naval history. The F-35C sets new standards in weapons system integration, lethality, maintainability, combat radius, and payload, delivering a true multi-mission power projection from the sea. It pairs 5th-generation survivability with major advances in network-enabled mission systems, reliability, and interoperability. Designed as a first day of the warfighter, the F-35C is built to dominate both air and surface threats while surviving the most challenging threat environments of today.
Go ahead and admit it. That was just completely badass. I've never seen that before. I saw it in the movies, but wow. You guys just saw them fly a plane and do a touch and go, and you also just saw one land and be held from going off the edge. Wow, 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 wow. I'm so glad they showed this today. Yeah, the music's playing. I'll deal with that afterwards, but pretty cool. Very, very cool how that plane just got snagged like that. Whew, crazy, pretty crazy. Let's see, they probably got another one coming in right behind it.
The next approach is the F-18 Super Hornet, a 4th-generation aircraft and the workhorse of the U.S. Navy. With a wingspan of 45 feet and touching down with over 100 knots, the arresting wires across the deck will bring it to a speed of down to 0, allowing it to stop within a few hundred feet. This clears the way for any following aircraft with an ideal interval of 55 seconds.
This is live footage on aircraft carrier. I don't know if this is President Trump coming in, but this is live video.
Can achieve our full combat capability anytime and any place. These are just a few of the people that make the aircraft carrier flight operations possible. The true strength of the carrier strike group comes from the dedicated men and women who work tirelessly to maintain these impressive machines every day. Our next demonstration will be an F-18 organic refueling capabilities. Here you will now see an aircraft coming into the pattern who is operating on a low fuel state and will be forced to discontinue his approach. Pilot is now executing a wave-off from the carrier indicating a foul deck. A foul deck means that there is an obstruction in the landing area, and for the safety of those on the deck and the aircraft coming into land, the approach has been aborted. The airborne refueling aircraft has been set to hawk our low-fuel aircraft in the pattern during their attempt to land. Since they were unable to come aboard, they are on low fuel, and it is up to the tanker aircraft to expeditiously join and refuel the aircraft to give it another chance to land. If you follow the path of the low fuel aircraft on the port side of the ship, you will see the tanker setting up in position to set up for air-to-air refueling. Now it is up to the pilot with the low fuel aircraft to steel his nerves and execute a precise and controlled connection, inserting the refueling boat into the drogue basket of the tanker aircraft and flying a perfect formation to hold in basket and to receive enough fuel for another chance to land. Organic tanking has made it possible by the F-18 and has made Navy's operations in hostile theaters without divert airfields possible for the last two decades. This ensuring safe aircraft recovery and extends the operational range of the F-18 for long-range strikes. F-35C Lightning II air perform basic fighter maneuvers, commonly referred to as dogfighting. This is a tactic that has roots tracing back to the daring pilots of World War I. Each pilot will push their bodies and their aircraft to the extreme limits in order to achieve victory. Approaching from the bow and the stern, the fighters close in on each other at speeds exceeding 1,000 knots, beginning in the fight on neutral terms to determine the winner. The aircraft will fly past each other in a high aspect pass with just 500 feet separating them. maintained by the other pilots who gained the offensive position. The fighters are now approaching the second neutral merge. One aircraft has decided to execute a nose-high maneuver and gain a positional advantage. Preparing to employ the AIM-120 to kill their adversary, they will open their weapons bay doors, and the fighter that has a positional advantage will max perform to get them behind their adversary and maintain the offensive position. After employing both the AIM-120 and the AIM-9X, the offensive fighter will not maneuver to execute a game attack on their adversary in an attempt to gain a 1v1 engagement victory. Crucial intelligence and direction to the aircraft engaged in the prosecution of threats and aircraft and surface vessels. addition to the impressive bomb-carrying capability of the F-18, each aircraft is equipped with the M61A1 Vulcan Gatling gun housed in the nose. The weapon fires 20mm rounds at a staggering of 6,000 rounds per minute to precisely destroy small targets while minimizing collateral damage. The 20mm cannon is equipped with a semi-overproducing high-explosive incendiary rounds, which are fired at supersonic speeds to inflict heavy damage to the targets. Ladies and gentlemen, well-honed straight pattern, diving at nearly 30 degrees straight at the target and unleashing the Vulcan firepower in a demonstration of the
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the United States.
Mission Warhawk Workforce Helicopter. It has 2 auxiliary fuel tanks that can stay airborne for about 4.5 hours, about 2 hours.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, First Lady. As always, it's great to see you. Mr. President, thank you for your leadership and support of our nation's armed forces. Secretary of War, thank you for your leadership in restoring our focus on the warfighter ethos. Secretary of Veteran Affairs, great to see you today, and thank you for all you do to support our Navy and Marine Corps veterans. CNO, Navy leaders, thank you for ensuring that our Navy and Marine Corps remains the preeminent maritime naval force. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and members of Congress, thank you for being here today. After seeing today's display of naval power and standing on this pier surrounded by sailors, Marines, family members, and patriotic Americans, all I can say is that was damn impressive. Come on, give them a hand. Bravo Zulu to the sailors that participated in today's sea demonstration. And standing on this pier surrounded by sailors, Marines, family members, and patriotic Americans, all I can say is that was damn impressive. Come on, give them a hand.
I had to change feet.
Bravo Zulu to the sailors that participated in today's sea demonstration. It is the honor and privilege of my lifetime to serve as your 79th Secretary of the Navy, especially as we kick off the Navy's 250th birthday celebrations. Thank you, President Trump, for your trust and confidence in me. Mr. President, your directive is clear: peace through strength, and we are executing it with your one big beautiful bill and your executive order on restoring America's maritime dominance. You've armed us with the authorities, resources, and urgency to modernize the fleet, expand our shipyards, rebuild the skilled workforce, deepen our magazines, and harden the infrastructure that wins wars at sea. 250 years ago, the Continental Congress made a bold bet: who controls the seas controls the future. This was the birth of our Navy, a testament to our historic significance. The Constitution states Congress shall have the power to provide and maintain a Navy. The word maintain means the Navy is intended to be a permanent, continuous institution of national defense and warfare. The founders understood the importance of having a Navy. George Washington, in a letter to the Marquis de Lafayette, wrote, "As certain as night succeeds the day, without a decisive naval force we can do nothing definitive, and with it, everything honorable and glorious." Today, 250 years later, history has proven that to be a superpower, one must be a sea power. Mr. President, your mandate ensures that when the world looks to the seas, it sees an American flag, and behind that flag stands a team that is disciplined, lethal, and dominant. Today, we showed the world what American sea power means: deadly precision, meticulous execution, raw power, and the will to use it. Secretary Hegseth,
We are restoring the warrior ethos to this department of the Navy, not by slogan, but by performance. The Truman, right here beside me, sustained more than 50 days of Tomahawk launches and precision airstrikes to degrade Iran-backed Houthi capabilities and protect commercial shipping during Operation Rough Rider. There are many, many missions that we are operating and executing on very well, including choking off cartel cash flows. Between Operation Atlantic and Pacific Watch, we've seized over 450 metric tons of cocaine worth more than $11 billion. These seizures represent lives saved. All these operations show us our fleet is ready to answer the nation's call 24/7, 365. The remarkable success is a testament to the bold vision of President Trump, whose leadership has ignited a renewed sense of patriotism, inserting more Americans to serve. I'm happy to say the Navy broke its recruiting record 4 months early, so help is on the way for the high operating tempo you've been living through. To our Marines standing in the line with us, your grit and discipline give us a fighting force no adversary can match. Warfighters, you are the backbone of this maritime strength, keeping our nation safe and secure and prosperous. You prove every day freedom isn't free. President Trump thanks you. Secretary Hegseth thanks you. I thank you, and your country thanks you. We appreciate the sacrifice you and your families make, and we value your unwavering commitment to the mission. Sea Power is a family business. Your sacrifices are not unnoticed, and they are deeply appreciated. They may wear the uniform, but you share the honor, and we share the pride. God bless you, God bless our Navy and Marine Corps, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
ship. You're fine, so kind. I got to tell this world that you're mine. I treat my nails and I flip on my thumb. I'm real nervous because the show is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, quick balls of fire.
Ladies and gentlemen.
My goodness. Well, good afternoon. How we doing, sailors? The absolute best of America. I'm honored to be at the world's largest naval base. Now, I'm the only thing between you, the First Lady, and the Commander-in-Chief, so I'm going to keep this very brief. Looking out at all of you, I know you know why the President always says we have the strongest, most powerful, most lethal, most ready military on the planet. And he's going to make sure we keep it that way. This is the perfect way to mark 250 years of the United States Navy. You know, President Trump has made our mission clear. America first and peace through strength, with common sense at every turn. At the War Department, it is the War Department, we're committed to that core mission of peace through strength. And for the Navy, that means more sailors, more subs, more ships, and more munitions for all of them. The Navy and the Marine Corps embody the resilience of our country. Nobody in the world does it better than the United States Navy. Always remember this. Fact. You are not civilians, you are different. Sailors, SEALs, Marines, you were set apart for a distinct purpose. Your diversity is not your strength. Your strength is your unity of purpose, your shared mission, your love of country. Generation after generation, battle after battle, ship after ship, sailor after sailor, you have set the tone. The story began with John Paul Jones when he declared, "I have not yet begun to fight." Today, we have a commander-in-chief who fights for all of you and fights for our country every single day. A commander-in-chief who guarantees that you, the warfighters, have everything you need on the high seas to deter our enemies and, if necessary, win overwhelmingly. We have a president who appreciates your dedication. He appreciates your service, your sacrifice, and that of your family as well. And as I always tell every service member, every sailor I see, he has your back. So warfighters, on behalf of everyone at the Department of War, thank you. Thank you for your commitment to America's Navy. You stand the watch 250 years later. God bless you. And may God bless our great republic. Godspeed. Thank you.
Tell us me by the clamor now, baby.
Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away. What? Look away, Dixieland. Second fellow, you on your own, man. Oh, I wish I was in Dixie. For Dixieland, I was born early, Lord, one frosty morn. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His perfect So hush, little baby, don't you cry. You know your daddy bound to die, but all
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the First Lady of the United States,
Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! It is an honor to be with you to celebrate the 250th year since the United States Navy was officially established. Generations of sailors have kept America free because of their presence on the high seas. Your strength, bravery, and sacrifice inspires us all. The President and I just attended an extraordinary demonstration, an inspiring display of skills that reflects the very best of our Navy. For me, it brought back fond memories of my visit to the USS George H.W. Bush in 2018. I will always remember the pride and professionalism of the sailors I met on that vessel. I witnessed the enduring spirit of America's Navy, which propels every mission and lives on to every sailor who serves. Now, it is my privilege to introduce someone who holds our military close to his heart, not only as the Commander-in-Chief, but as a proud American who believes deeply in the men and women who wear the uniform. Please join me in welcoming my husband, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
God bless the United States Navy. Well, that was good timing, wasn't it? Huh? We had to get that right. We had to get that right. But they always get it right. I was just given a display with a wonderful First Lady, the likes of which I think few people have ever seen before. We were a few minutes away, and the display of strength was absolutely incredible. We appreciate it. Thank you, Navy. Thank you very much. And I want to thank our magnificent First Lady for that introduction. People love our First Lady. They do. And let me say to all of the incredible sailors on this pier, it's great to be with the fleet, the fleet. And let's also give a very special thanks to the shipmates who put on that spectacular display of Navy dominance. And that's what it was dominance. And Bravo Zulu. You know what that is? Bravo Zulu. You know, a lot of people don't. And it's a true honor to be here with the thousands of our nation's finest sailors at the largest naval facility in the entire world. It's the largest, and I would say more importantly, it's the best, okay? It's both the Norfolk Naval Base. Thank you very much. The largest, and it's the best. We're gathered on this storied waterfront to celebrate 250 years of strength, tenacity, and unwavering courage by the greatest fighting force even. And that's true. No matter where you go, no matter where you go, no matter what you even think about, there's nothing like the fighting force that we have. Roam the seas. It's called the United States Navy, and there's nothing in the world like it. Nothing, not even close. You read stories, they don't have it. Let me tell you, we check it closely. We check it closely. Docked beside us today are a combined 150,000 tons of pure American naval supremacy, and two colossal reasons why no one should ever want to start a fight with the USA. They won't fight. We're putting out a lot of fights, so do you see that? We're going to be close to number 8. Number 8. We don't want to send you into battle unless it's necessary, right? We're putting out a lot of fires. Maybe some of you will be angry. You'll say, what's he doing? We want to fight. You know what? If we can solve them the way I'm solving them, we solve 7. We have another one that's taken 3,000 years, and we're pretty close, but I don't want to talk about it until it's done. But let's give a big round of applause to the men and women of the majestic USS Kearsarge. Thank you. And let's hear it for the sailors of the USS Harry S. Truman. Those who call this carrier home live by a motto that captures the spirit of America's Navy. It's very simple. The words, give them hell, and we do give them hell. For 2.5 centuries, that is what every generation of American sailors have done. You've conquered raging oceans and braved ferocious storms to vanquish America's enemies on the high seas and distant shores. You've beaten mighty warships into twisted wrecks of steel. You've splintered vast armadas and sent the mangled pride of empire sinking into oblivion. You've surged the waters thick in danger, blood, brine, and through it all, the United States Navy has kept the stars and stripes soaring high and proud above those big, magnificent waves. You love doing it, too. There's not a thing in the world that you'd rather do, is there? Is there? No. I like your life better than mine, I have to be honest with you. Sailing on those beautiful waters all the time, you're so lucky. Because the American sailor never quits, never fails, and never, ever lets us down. They've never let us down. Thank you. Thank you. And we're honored to be joined today by service members representing every part of this great naval tradition. Our incredible surface warriors are the reason America's enemies tremble at the sight of a Navy ship haze gray or underway. The instant U.S. carrier, cruiser, or destroyer breaks across the horizon, every tyrant and adversary on the planet knows their choice is very simple. It's leave America in peace or be blown up in fire and fury never seen before. All over the world, people know of the skill, nerve, swagger, and sheer attitude of the boldest and most daring pilots on the sea, the U.S. naval aviators, and I just got to witness it with Melania. They land screaming jets on pitching decks in the dark of night with no room for error. There's no room for error. The greatest pilots in the world. And while Navy pilots rain down pain from above, the greatest adversaries fear the daring deeds of our silent service below. They prowl and strike from crushing depths, unseen, undetected, and unstoppable. They are our brave submariners. Where are the submariners? And they are brave. The most lethal weapon in the world, I will tell you, nobody knows where it is, and what it carries is nothing that carries weaponry like that. And we're 25 years ahead of any other country when it comes to submarines. Nobody's even close. Nobody can match us. No roll call of Navy warriors would be complete without recognizing some of the fiercest and most elite commandos in the history of war. They are the toughest, and there's nobody tougher. There's just nobody. That's what they tell me. There's nobody tougher. Called the Navy SEALs. What do you think about the Navy SEALs? Where are the Navy SEALs? We're not going to mess with the Navy SEALs. They are great. Thank you very much. Incredible people. And of course, our enemies have learned to dread that special cast of warriors who have charged forward almost everywhere America has seized a stronghold or stormed a beachhead. They call themselves the Leathernecks, the Jarheads, the Devil Dogs, but we revere them as the United States Marines. Incredible people. Incredible people. With us today are some of those who have led these exceptional men and women. They've led them like nobody else. And I'll tell you, a person I'm very, very proud of. He has stepped up and he's hitting home run after home run. They love him. I want to introduce again a man who's just exceptional. I'm so happy with this choice, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Thank you, Pete. Doing a job. I said, Pete, what do you think? You know, we used to call it Secretary of War, the Department of War, the War Department. Now we call it Defense. And I don't know, would you ever want to, you know, we won World War I. We won World War II. We won everything in between. We won everything before. And all of a sudden they decide to change the name. They went woke then too, you know. Woke is a long-term word. I said, what do you think about changing it to the Department of War? He said, I love it, sir. And that was about the end of it, right? That was the end of it. Thank you, Pete. Great job. He's a great leader. Also, Secretary of the Navy, a very, very successful man. He gave it all up to do this, and we're designing more ships. We have more ships being built shortly. We're going to have more great ships being built than we've ever had being built in the history of the Navy. John Phelan. John, thank you. Great job, John. He made a lot of money in the private sector, and I said, you want to do this, John? We need a lot of ships, and we need them fast. And he said, I want to do it. He gave up a lot, gave up everything to do this. But he's loving it, and he's doing a fantastic job. Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Darrell Caudle. Admiral, thank you. Great job. Rear Admiral Gavin Duff. And along with so many different people here, that I could introduce them all day long. I don't want to do that because we got to get to business, talking a little bit about war and peace. But along with your great officers here at Norfolk Naval Base, Vice Admirals John Gumbleton. John, thank you. Thank you, John. Great. Young guy. You're a young guy. Great. Doug Perry and Rob Goucher. Thank you. And a very special thanks to a man who just got a 93% approval. He runs the Veterans Everything, I call it. He's Veterans Everything. The VA Secretary Doug Collins. He's doing great. Thank you, Doug. Doing a great job. Ambassador Monica Crowley. Monica, thank you very much. A man that everybody loves. He was my doctor in the White House, and I got to know him very well. He was also the doctor for Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And he was the doctor for a man named Bush. And at a press conference, they asked him, who's in the best shape? Who's the healthiest? Who's the strongest? Who's the best physical specimen of the three? He said, that's easy. President Donald Trump. And I said, I love this guy. I said, I love him. Ronnie Jackson, he's now a congressman, as you know. So he was an admiral. He was a chief doctor. He was the whole boss of doctors. And now he's a very, very successful congressman from Texas. Thank you, Ronnie, very much. And I appreciate those words. I'll never forget them. Jen Kiggins. Jen, thank you. John McGuire. Rob Whitman. Dan Crenshaw, Derek Van Orden. These are unbelievable, talented people that are with me, and they fight. Thank you very much, fellas. Thank you. Thank you very much, darling. These are great Congress. I say Congress warriors. That's what you have to be today to be in Congress if you're going to make it. I also want to recognize all of the newly pinned chief petty officers. You got a lot of them here today. I had to approve it. Who recently earned their anchors and now bear their venerable title, Navy Chief. Navy Chief. Thank you, Navy Chiefs. Let's also express the gratitude of our entire nation to every Navy veteran who has come out to honor this big anniversary. We see so many veterans. I saw backstage, I was shaking hands with veterans all over the place. And they are great. And they're respected and they're loved. Thank you very much. Stand up if you'd like. Thank you very much. They're really loved. I saw it backstage. I saw so many veterans, my hand will never be the same. Thank you very much. A great honor. And a very special thanks to the countless Navy families who support our sailors with such love and devotion. None of what are, and think of this, without them, you wouldn't be celebrating today. Many of you would not be doing very well. Male or female, you wouldn't be doing very well. So we want to thank our family members, right? All of them. Parents, husbands, wives. Thank you. Thank you very much. From the American Revolution until today, the story of the U.S. Navy is a tale of loyalty, sacrifice, and commitment stretching back 250 years. So we're celebrating 250. I almost thought I wouldn't get to do that because I was president in 2016, and then they rigged the election on me. And then we caught him, didn't we? We caught him, but, you know, we had to run it again. I ran it again, and I got 250, and I got the World Cup, and I got the Olympics. Can you believe all of it? In my first term, I was the one that got the Olympics. I was the one that got the World Cup. And I said, you know, the sad part is, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't even be invited because it won't be during my term. I would say, if we're a Democrat, I might not be invited. They don't love me exactly too much. And then when this happened, now all of a sudden they got all three. But you know what's the most important? 250 years is the most important, above World Cup, above Olympic. But we got them all coming. And on June 14th, next year, we're going to have a big UFC fight at the White House, right at the White House, on the grounds of the White House. When the Continental Congress formed a fleet of just 2 ships in October 1775, many scoffed at their chances against the most powerful empire on earth. That was the most powerful ever, relatively speaking. We had 2 ships. We had nothing other, but we had great heart. They didn't know the audacity and the grit of the American sailor. They had no idea the war for independence gave us some of the greatest American heroes of all time, including the father of the U.S. Navy, Captain John Paul Jones. You know that. When a far stronger British ship demanded his surrender, Jones yelled back that timeless battle cry right now, "I have not yet begun to fight." Don't ask me for that. Think of that. I could just see it. He's a wise guy. He's asking, I haven't even begun to fight. And he knocked the hell out of him. In the War of 1812, Captain James Lawrence shouted his final words to his crew as blood streamed down from his mortal wounds. "Fight her till she sinks," he yelled. "Don't give up the ship." Don't give up the ship. These are all incredible, very, very famous statements now, with years and time, very famous. Don't give up the ship. I say it all the time. You're a little behind. I say, don't give up the ship, and we win. We all know how to win. Today, that eternal creed is written into the hearts of every sailor in the fleet. America's Navy never, ever gives up the ship, right? We never give it up. Another titan of the early Navy was the great Commodore Arthur Sinclair. He defeated the French in the Caribbean battle. And then he went to work on the Barbary pirates off the coast of Tripoli and raided British forces when they were so powerful in 1812, the War of 1812. He raided them. He was knocking them out one by one. Everyone said, where does this guy come from? And we're all descendants when you think of it. Commodore Sinclair went on to become the commanding officer here at the Naval Station Norfolk, right here, where he founded a nautical school for officers that eventually became the one and only U.S. Naval Academy. And I'm going to be at your Army-Navy game this year. Who am I going to root for, huh? You may be surprised. It's going to be great. We're going to be here. Generations of the Commodore's descendants have forged their own towering legacies of service in the Navy, and we're joined today by his 5th great-grandson, Commander Link Mustin. Where is Mustin? Commander Mustin, where are you? He's here. Wow, look at this handsome guy. That's good genetics, right? He's got good genes. Thank you very much. Commander, thank you for continuing a family tradition that has endured for 2.5 centuries. Can you believe that, huh? I wonder if they were as good looking as you. I doubt it. You just got better with age, right? Congratulations. Is that young man your boy? Wow. He beats you. They beat you. That's what we want to see. Over the generations, our Navy sailors raised Old Glory above the streets of Veracruz, sent the Spanish fleet to its watery grave in Manila Bay, and buried the vicious German wolf packs at the bottom of the sea. Those were vicious, vicious wolf packs. They were brutal. They were hitting us hard, and then we came up with the answer, didn't we? We came up with the way to knock them out, and we were knocking them out so fast they didn't know what to do. It was really the end once we discovered the secret through some brilliant minds. A lot of them are descendants of the people here right now. In every era of conflict, the Navy has never failed to hunt, kill, and to win. Never failed. Never failed. In World War II, Admiral Bull Halsey's motto, hit hard, hit fast, hit often. And that is exactly what the sailors do. One of those warriors was Submarine Commander Eugene Fluke, who sent more Japanese tonnage to the ocean floor than any other man in history. I don't like to talk about it too much now. You know, they've been a nice ally, but anybody from Japan here right now? We'll get off the subject immediately. But think of it. Sent more tonnage to the bottom of the sea, one after one. Aboard the famed USS Barb, he destroyed a Japanese tanker and a carrier with a single salvo to his men's chagrin. They were very concerned about it. They didn't think we could do that, and he just knocked them out one after another. And again, torpedoes were flying, but his greatest feat came when he spotted 30 enemy ships at port off the coast of China. You know that, a very famous story. Commander Fluke ordered his men to their battle station, slipped into the harbor, and sank 6 vessels at one time before taking off into the beautiful, wild blue ocean. He received 4 Navy Crosses, the Legion of Merit, and the Congressional Medal of Honor. That was a brave guy. In recognition of the incredible achievements of the USS Barb under his command, this December we will lay the keel of a brand new Virginia-class submarine bearing that same legendary name, and his grandson, Tom, will be there to pick it up. Tom is with us today, and I want to thank you for keeping that great legacy around. Where is Tom? Oh, look, stand up, Tom. Great. Good, Tom. Thank you. That's good. That's good genes too, Tom, isn't it? That's good stuff. Thank you very much, both, for being here. From Midway to the Coral Sea to Leyte Gulf, American sailors fought the most epic naval battles in history. And at Normandy, the Navy led the greatest armada ever formed to deliver the single largest invasion force the world has ever seen. One of the sailors who did it was Felix Maurizio, who enlisted at age 18 and trained right here in Norfolk, trained right here. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, Felix manned an amphibious landing craft that did 6 harrowing runs to Omaha Beach. You all know about it. These are all famous fights. He delivered hundreds of American troops into the battle, including his brother Sal. Felix lost so many of his friends that day, but he kept fighting. He kept going out there, getting more soldiers, getting more of everything. He just kept coming. They couldn't stop him, and went on to serve in the Pacific under the great Admiral Nimitz. In February 1945, he spent his 21st birthday landing Marines on the blood-soaked sands of Iwo Jima, one of the bloodiest, toughest battles ever. Historic battle. 6 months later, he was aboard the USS Talladega in Tokyo Bay. When Japan surrendered, they said, I don't think we want Felix hitting us anymore. And he retired as a Chief Petty Officer in 1966. This year, Felix celebrated his 100th birthday, and he is here this afternoon as a living testament to the glory of the United States Navy. Wow. That's great. He looks good. Felix, you look better than I do. I'm not happy about this, Felix. Nah, they don't want to mess around with him. And Felix, we salute you. Thank you very much. Incredible. 100 years. In Korea, American sailors and Marines carried out the daring landing in Incheon and flew more than 250,000 combat sorties against the enemy. It was an amazing effort. In Vietnam, the Navy unleashed Operation Rolling Thunder and deployed a brand new unit, the Navy SEALs, to tear up Mekong River Delta. Problem with Vietnam, we stopped fighting to win. We would have won easy. We would have won Afghanistan easy. We would have won every war easy. But we got politically correct. Let's take it easy. We're not politically correct anymore, just so you understand. We win. Now we win. We don't want to be politically correct anymore. And history will never forget that it was the SEALs who stormed the compound at Osama bin Laden and put a bullet in his head. Remember that? And please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year ago, 1 year before he blew up the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to watch Osama bin Laden. And the fake news would never let me get away with that statement unless it was true. But I said 1 year before to Pete Hegseth, I said 1 year before, where's Pete? In the book, I wrote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. But I can tell you there's a page in there devoted to the fact that I saw somebody named Osama bin Laden, and I didn't like it, and you got to take care of him. They didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center, so we got to take a little credit because nobody else is going to give it to me. You know the old story? They don't give you credit, just take it yourself. And it was the U.S. Navy that dumped his wretched corpse off the decks of the Carl Vinson to sink into the dark abyss. The Navy's central role in the defense of our liberty continues to this day. Just a few months ago, the Ohio-class guided missile submarine played an indispensable part in one of the most spectacular military feats the world has ever seen, the obliteration of Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer. How did that work out? Pretty good, right? And we shot 30 Tomahawks, you know that. On top of, after the B-2, how about that? The B-2s, what they did, those beautiful flying wings, what they did, they hit every single target they hit. And just in case, we shot 30 Tomahawks out of a submarine, every one of them hit too. So I would say Iran was not particularly thrilled. They were going to have a nuclear weapon within a month. And now they can start the operation all over again, but I hope they don't, because we'll have to take care of that too if they do. I let them know that. You want to do that, it's fine, but we're going to take care of that, and we're not going to wait so long. It should have been done long before I came along. You know that I had the pilots of the B-2s in my office, the famous Oval Office. I had them in the B-2s. They came in to the White House, and we talked about it. They said, you know, sir, for 22 years, our predecessors and us trained for that hit. For 22 years, they were training to take out the nuclear potential of Iran. He said, but it was only when you came along that we did it. And they were so happy that they did it. But they've been training for that hit for 22 years, but no president wanted to do it. They would have had a nuclear weapon within a month, probably within a month or shortly thereafter. And speaking to them would have been much more difficult. In recent weeks, the Navy has supported our mission to blow the cartel terrorists the hell out of the water. You see that? And you know, there are no boats in the water anymore. You can't find any. We're having a hard time finding them. But you know, it's a pretty tough thing we've been doing, but you have to think of it this way. Every one of those boats is responsible for the death of 25,000 American people and the destruction of families. So when you think of it that way, what we're doing is actually an act of kindness. But we did another one last night. Now we just can't find any. You know, it's the old story. We're so good at it that there are no boats. In fact, even fishing boats, nobody wants to go into the water anymore. Sorry to tell you that. But it's we're stopping drugs coming into America, if that's okay. We're stopping drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Last year, we lost, I believe, 300,000 people. And that's not talking about the destruction to families. Every one of us knows families that have been destroyed because the son, daughter, even mothers and fathers are destroyed by the fentanyl pouring in and drugs pouring in. Well, they're not coming in by sea anymore, so now we'll have to start looking about the land because they'll be forced to go by land. And let me tell you right now, that's not going to work out well for them either. And it was the Truman carrier strike group that unleashed American fury on the Houthi terrorists in the Red Sea. And as you know, they settled. But they settled because they made the statement to us, we've never been hit like that ever before. And earlier this year, conducted the single largest airstrike from an American carrier in history. That was the largest ever. I want to express my personal thanks to every single sailor who contributed to these phenomenal victories. We only know victory. We're only going to know victory. We don't want to know the other word. We want to know victory. We're going to have great victories in the years to come. Well, at least for almost 3.5 years, we're going to have great victories. I want to thank a group of women from North Carolina. Look at these great. Will you stand up, please? These beautiful women have followed me. This is number 151. You could call a rally. This is sort of a rally. Let's face it. This is a rally. This is a speech of love. We all love our country. But that group is from North Carolina. They're up to about 151 visits. They have a whole group of them. I never see their husbands. I don't know what's going on with their husbands. I assume, do they still love you, the husbands? Yes, good. But I want to thank you. 151, they've been following me since 2016, and you look even better now than you did then. But I want to thank you very much. It's a really group. They love our country. They like Trump, but you know what they really do? They love our country. And we have the right policy, right? We have policy. We don't want crime. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender for everybody. We don't want to have open borders where millions of people come into our country from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions and insane asylums, drug dealers, murderers. 11,788 murderers were allowed to come into our country. A lot of them are gone. And by the way, Washington, D.C. is a safe place right now. It went from one of the most dangerous cities in our country, can you believe that, to probably the safest, among the safest in our country. Nobody's being hit anymore. It's very safe, and I want to thank you. A lot of the people here have helped. A lot of the people in the audience are people that have straightened them out. It took 12 days, think of that. Now we're in Memphis. We're doing the same thing in Memphis. And we're going to Chicago. You know, we have a governor that thinks it's wonderful when 50 people in a short period of time were murdered in Chicago. Over 200 people were hit. And so we send in the National Guard. You know what? We send in what's ever necessary. People don't care. They don't want crime in their cities. And we're doing it, and we're doing it well. We're doing it like nobody's ever done it before. So I just want to tell you, you're very close to D.C. The restaurants are thriving. The restaurants were dying. They were closing one after another. Now they're thriving. They're opening up beautiful new restaurants. Washington, D.C. is safe. And I even went there and had dinner the other night. And I stood right smack in the middle of the street. Secret Service was thrilled. And I gave a news conference. It's a safe place now. Washington, D.C., it's always going to be. Our nation's capital is always going to be safe. We're never going to let that happen again, what happened there. One of the most beautiful places. We're doing a big beautification program. It'll take me very little, very short, but we're doing a beautification program to go along with the security and safety. We're getting rid of the graffiti, the potholes, the broken medians between roads. We're doing a real job, and you'd be proud of it. I think everybody here is proud of it, frankly. It's our nation's capital, and that has to be clean, beautiful, and safe. The U.S. Navy always stands for America. As your commander-in-chief, I will always stand for you. I promise you that. You know that. That's why you voted for me in numbers that nobody's ever seen before. And I want you to know that despite the current Democrat-induced shutdown, we will get our service members every last penny. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll worry about it. Do not worry about it. It's all coming. It's coming. And even more because I'm supporting the across-the-board pay raises for every sailor and service member of the United States Armed Forces. But we have to take care of this little gnat that's on our shoulder called the Democrats. They want to give all of our money to illegal aliens that pour into the country. And, you know, I have a bigger heart than they do. But the problem is when you do that, they come in by the millions. Everybody wants that, so you can't do it. But I've also pledged the largest ever investment in our military's history. We're spending over $1 trillion. We've never had anything like that before. $1 trillion on our military, and that includes, along with your Secretary of the Navy and Pete Hegseth, we're going to be building lots of ships and doing a lot of things that you haven't seen happen for 35 years. We'll soon revitalize our once great shipyards with hundreds of billions of dollars in new investments and people coming from all around the world, and they're going to build ships in America. We want to build in America. And as I told our generals and admirals last Tuesday, we are getting wokeness the hell out of our military. It's gone. It's really gone. I don't know that it was ever really here. I think some of the top people had it. I knew a few of them that they were major losers. But they were losers. Unlike our great general, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who may be here, Dan Raisin Cane. You know Raisin Cane? When I heard his name, I said, that's the guy I'm looking for. But he's been an amazing warrior, and, you know, he was the one headed up the attack on Iran. And everything he's touched has turned out great. He knocked out ISIS. So I was told it would take 4 to 5 years to beat ISIS. When he came on board, he did it in 4 weeks. We knocked him out in 4 weeks. 100% of the ISIS caliphate. Is Dan Kane here? He is, you know why? Because he's working. That's the one thing. We don't have to worry about him. But he is a fantastic man. It's the man I wanted right from the beginning. I said, if I ever do this again and if I could get lucky enough to win, because we have a base like nobody in history has had, I said, I'm going to pick Raisin Cane as the chairman. And that's what we did, and he's been incredible. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom. That's why we have renamed the Department of Defense at Department of War, as I said, and we have changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. That was easy. That was an easy one. You know, for years I've looked at it, and I added it up, and I figured we have 92% of the frontage. I say, how come we call it the Gulf of Mexico? I mean, I wouldn't say that Mexico is thrilled with me, but what are you going to do? It's the Gulf of America, and I love it now. I was watching the other night a report, and they said very routinely, in the Gulf of America, this is the, you know, they just went on to talk about it. They didn't do it with a smirk or a smile. They didn't say, in the Gulf of America. No, it's called the Gulf of America now, and nobody's playing games with it. We got sued by the Associated Press, and they lost. In fact, the judge was so good, he said, he's calling it the Gulf of America. He's got all the approvals. You have to do that, too, to the very liberal Associated Press. They got thrown out of court. In fact, they're almost not allowed to cover me anymore because of that. It was a big hit. So I'm very proud of that. Under our leadership, the spirit of the American forces is soaring like it has never soared before. I think right now we have more spirit than we've ever had before. After years of recruiting shortages, we couldn't get guys or gals to become sailors. 1 year ago, they didn't want to be a sailor. Although I must say, once I said we're going to run, a lot of people, it made it better. But let's go back 2 years, and it was even worse. Because there was no hope. We had this horrible, horrible president who had no clue what the hell was happening. The chances of him walking down those stairs successfully were not good. And I have to be careful, because one day I'm going to probably fall. No, the North Carolina women said that will never happen to you. I always say, walk down the steps nice and slow. You ever notice I do nice? I don't have to bop down the stairs. Walk nice and slowly. But we have a waiting list. Think of this. We have a waiting list for people wanting to get into the United States Navy, the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, Space Force. Oh, we love Space Force. But think of it, we have a waiting list for every branch of government now, and that includes police and firemen. Nobody wanted to be a policeman. Now they want to be a policeman. Now they want to be in the Navy. They want to be in the Air Force so badly. The Marines, the Army, they want to be in all of it. They love Space Force. I love Space Force because I created Space Force. That was my thing. And it's going to turn out to be one of the most important. But 1 year ago, our country was dead. We had a dead country. People say, sir, you shouldn't say that. It's too straight to withdraw. We had a dead country, and today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world by far. 1 year, think of it. 1 year ago, we were dead. The king of Saudi Arabia said to me, President, 1 year ago, we thought we lost America. We thought it was a dead country, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. He said that. I use this term. And I'm pleased to say that 2025 was the Navy's single best recruiting year ever. Not bad. So you went from those embarrassing headlines of a year ago. Think of it. Nobody wants to go into the Navy. How does that make you feel? Now you have a different problem. You know what the problem is? Everybody wants your job. I like that better, right? No, but nobody's going to take your job. You were with us when it was not as nice. It wasn't as nice. Those are the people I like the best, too. The people that were with me when it wasn't looking so good, like these ladies from North Carolina. They were with me when it wasn't looking that good. A lot of fake scandals were created, all fake. One of those eager new recruits is 18-year-old Aiden Rollins, a recruit like I'm so proud of. Aiden's father was a sailor, his grandfather was a sailor, and after 4 years of Navy ROTC, it is Aiden's turn to carry on that tradition. When he enlisted in April, his father, Daniel, a Navy veteran, was so inspired that he decided to re-enlist too. Wow. I'm delighted to say that father and son are here with us today representing the future of this great fleet. Please, Aiden and your father, please stand up. Wow. Wow, that's a good-looking family, I tell you. Thank you both. That's a great story. Beautiful. Your father looks pretty young, Aiden. I mean, he's a young-looking guy. Every sailor, aviator, submariner, and shipmate in the Navy inherits a tradition of excellence and daring, power and glory unmatched in the long saga of mankind's voyage on the sea. From that first ship, the schooner Hannah, to the awesome sight of a modern carrier battle group underway, the U.S. Navy has always been the iron will of a proud and mighty nation pushing forward through the currents and over those big, beautiful waves, through the spray of raging combat and the fog of naval war. America's sailors have proven time and again that our Navy does just the best job there is. Anything having to do with sailing the oceans, there's nobody to compete. We own the skies, we stalk the depths, and we rule the seas like nobody has ever ruled the seas. From Boston Harbor to Hampton Roads, from the Philippine Sea to the Red Sea, from the Guadalcanal to the vast, great Atlantic Ocean. Our sailors have seized triumph upon triumph. We don't know anything about defeat. We heaped honor upon honor and carved greatness and splendor into the pages of history. We only talk about the Navy and only use that word, splendor. We also say victory because that's the other. We have splendor and we have victory on gun decks and flight decks. In torpedo rooms and cockpits, they have poured out their blood, sweat, and tears and offered their very lives to defend this land between the seas. They have crossed icy canals, leapt from burning wreckage, plunged into frigid waters, soared into deadly skies, and slashed across the mine-infested bays to claim American victory and to defend the cause of liberty, to defend, quite frankly, the American flag. In every era and every part of this globe, our sailors have fought with courage in their hearts, patriotism in their souls, and salt water in their veins. You have that salt water. Don't let the doctors change it. Keep it, because there's nothing like it. There's no blood like it. And standing before all of you today, I know that whatever our nation is threatened and whenever they need help, whenever duty calls, American sailors will hoist our flag high and they will rally to Admiral Farragut's immortal battle cry, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, go, you son of a guns." With your help, we will fight, fight, fight. We will win, win, win. Because of you, our Navy and our country will always be proud and righteous and mighty and free. Congratulations once again on 250 years of total dominance. Sail fast, stay strong. Thank you. God bless our sailors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, everybody.
And we used to bring aircraft carriers down here back during Fleet Week, and these things, if you've never seen one of those things up, I remember driving to the port, and you could go on a tour, and I was walking along the wharf there, and I was telling one of my buddies, "Where is this thing? I don't see it." And he's like, "Dude, it's right there." And I looked up and I'm like, "Oh my God," 'cause it looked like a building. It was monstrous. If you've never seen one, it was absolutely monstrous. And I look up and go, "You gotta be kidding me. That's a freaking boat?" "Yeah, that's a boat, bro." And right away you start feeling, ooh, that's really nice. That's really nice. But yeah, it was art. So it's Sunday, so I'm going to get you guys out of here early. Earlier, we've already been here almost 3 hours. And I didn't really care if YouTube dings me on this one. You know, we have these kind of events and they are what they are. And they're meant to pump us all up. They're meant to get us engaged. And so I played the music. I know I'll get the notification very shortly. Can't do that. You got to turn the music off. But screw them sometimes. Absolutely screw them. So I'm not sure. I won't say it until I find out for sure tonight. But any event, 2 shows tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, so we're going to have our normal 1 o'clock-ish show. I say that now, not knowing what schedule President Trump puts out there. Of course, let me just address this. Some people have been wondering, when am I going on and when am I not going on? Well, I will be doing Monday, hopefully 2 shows as much as possible as I get the other studio put together. But I always have to check President Trump's schedule in the morning. They don't list it. They list it about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'll figure out what we're going to do. So just stay tuned to that. And I post every single show in our private X group. By the way, if you haven't joined there, that's where you probably need to go so you can get notification right away. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. You want to go to fanfareshop.org/group, and there's 18,000 plus fellow patriots in there. And so every single show, regardless if you get a notification, is always posted there, and it's pinned so you know. So just if you don't join, you may not get the notification. What I'm going to sneak and tell you is we got some big stuff coming this week. Some big giveaways coming this week. Some big giveaways coming this week. Some big giveaways. That's just one. And then you're going to want to tune in this week because we got some big giveaways coming up. Did I say that enough? Some big giveaways. Alrighty, so let me do super chats and let you guys have a nice Sunday evening. I'm going to go work on studio stuff. What we got here? Alright. Fakovsky, thank you. Tilly, hey Barry, Ashley Mods and Fanfare family. How you doing, Tilly? Demon of Cybertron, shout out to Ben Dykes. Was Ben Dykes here today? Yeah, he used to be on a sub. Ann Bass, I love my Fanfare family. God bless you, Barry, and anyone in the chat who served. Thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't serve. My dad did. My brother did. Franco, saw a neighbor at Mass this morning wear a Freedom pullover. Oh, for Charlie. Great. So I told him he might like your stream. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Justin Bundy, happy birthday to our glorious Navy. Thank you, Barry. This is epic. Yeah, it was. Bridget, what a great time to be alive. Neo, American patriotism on display. God bless our military and their leaders. Hexif, Trump, America's back and strong. Thank you, Barry team. Thank Neo for showing up today. Rios family, my son ships out for Navy boot camp on November 10th. Thank you, Barry, for this. Yeah, now you got a good flavor of what's in store for him. Bridget Core Cadre, classiest first lady ever. Yeah, I'm glad she came out too. Sammy Guy, me and my brothers in this Chicano Garcia family are Navy war veterans. My two older brothers are Vietnam Navy veterans. I served on a USS Ranger CV-61. Hold on a second, hold on. I gotta give it up for you for that one. Thank you. Fazul, never seen our military smile for Obama or Biden. Nope, our troops used to look depressed. They're smiling now and looking so pumped. And the New Life, thank you very much. They do look so pumped, ready to do business. Need to let them get in there and get into, what do you call it, some of these cities and do some business. SB said that Rumble is not working yet for me to broadcast, but I can simulcast. It's a little technical term, but at least I was able. We had somebody on Rumble who, Night Shift 1970, who gave a nice chat, super chat. So, and Snoob, S-N-E-U-B, Snoob as well. I love your platform and watch you daily while I exercise and take care of my two young grandkids in their homeschool. Very nice, very nice. All right, everybody, that was a good Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow, I can tell you, we have a big show planned, provided we don't get preempted, because I got all the information from what's happened in the last 24 hours. If you haven't seen it, it's crazy. Some of it I can show you, some of it I can't, because you know how YouTube doesn't like the violence being shown, so I can't show you that. But I'll save it for the after party on Rumble so we can figure that out. All right, everybody. Sunday evening. Hope you guys went to church. Hope everything went well with you. Have some dinner with the family, and I will see you tomorrow. And go Irish.